Welcome, everybody, to a really special episode of Understable Minds. Sitting across from me, as usual, is Eric McCabe.
Per usual.
Not the reason that this is a special episode.
Oh, man.
The very, very standard affair going on over there.
Yep.
Sitting across and to my right, we have newly announced, well, at the time of recording, not newly announced, at the time of listening, newly announced,
Yes.
Team DD member Kona Panis.
Hi.
Very cool. So it is currently, let's see, it's November 5th as we are recording this. Probably somewhere closer to January 5th when most people are listening to this. So the spot that Kona is in right now, as I'm looking at her, is very different than the spot that Kona will be in as people are listening to this.
That's true.
So we might even have, you'll probably be back, and we might almost be able to record another episode before this one is heard. So we can almost have this be like a prerequisite, and then we can check in on where you are when you come back at undisclosed time, and then we'll see how things are going. For most people, it'll be a day, 2 days. For us, it'll be a couple of months. But that's not the important part. Obviously, the important part is the fact that Kona is playing for Team DD now.
I am,
How, I guess, I'll let Kona take the lead on this.
Yes, please.
Eric, we've heard your voice enough.
Yes. Fair enough.
I think the question that's on most people's mind with this is how? How did this come about? How did this happen? I know myself, as well as I would think most other people, obviously you were with Innova before, kind of thought Kona Panis is just going to be with them forever.
Synonymous,
Her
right?
middle name is coincidentally one of their plastic types.
Yeah, we made a joke that your name is now Kona Fusion Panis.
Yeah. So if you could work on getting that changed.
Yeah.
You know.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Sorry, I'm changing my name.
So take me through this. How did this all come about?
Yeah, so, just to start off, nothing but respect for Innova. They were the first company to really take a chance on me, and, nothing but love for them. But, they have a lot of athletes on, their team, and, nothing against them and nothing against the athletes that are sticking with them. But, I wanted to not only start fresh and with a company who really represent their women in a great light, but I felt like DD just fit. Not only because you guys have great relationships with other companies, but just with the players, and you're doing a lot of great things, not only for the sport, but for the junior side of things. And I'm all about getting younger people involved. That's like something I always look forward to doing, especially with like social media and stuff. But yeah, nothing against Innova. Just I think for my future, DD just fit. Very
cool. And I think we would kind of, what's the word? We would kind of reflect that it just kind of fits. Kona kind of fits the DD brand, just like DD and Kona kind of fit together. Cool.
I've been in Kona's ear for a while now. I have.
Yes,
for sure,
yes.
100%.
Hey, anytime that contract is out, So take me back a little bit farther. I'm sure most people are familiar with you, but our audience probably isn't as familiar with you as they may be with some of our other players that have been here for a longer period of time. How did you get into disc golf? What's your kind of entry story?
So my dad started playing disc golf with lids back when I was a little baby, so very small. And then he became a co-founder of a disc golf club in Colorado. So he got very involved with disc golf, and he kind of, would just sign me up, and I'd go play. And I actually played with Paige Shue when I was very young. Or she might have been in the pro or advanced ranks, and I might have been playing, FA1, like the lower amateur levels. But I always remember Paige being really good back in the day in Colorado. But Dad got very involved, and it wasn't until high school when I got very obsessed with disc golf. And I was playing often. My dad and we would take off school, and we'd fly to Arizona, and I won my first advanced tournament at the Phoenix Ladies Open, and was like, dang, like, I think I want to try and get sponsored by someone. And so I actually reached out to Prodigy first.
Okay.
And Will Schustrick said I didn't have a lot of experience. And he's like, I'll come back in next year when you may have a few more wins. And then I reached out to Innova, and they're like, yeah, we sponsor a lot of women. Why not? So that was my background. I got super involved with disc golf, and my dad got a job, and we literally picked up and moved our whole life within a month. So dove straight into disc golf.
Right. So your dad got a job at Innova, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you started young enough that your goal probably wasn't immediately like pick up a disc. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
No.
How was that like a flip of the switch moment? Was it just like, hey, I'm actually kind of good at this. I could maybe do something with this? Or how did that transition from this is the thing that I do with my dad on the weekends to now this is my life. This is my job. This is what I do to make money. And this is my future.
So he got the job with Innova. We moved to California, and then I actually started working at the factory store. And so I was packing discs, like some of your workers downstairs, I was packing, I was doing quality control. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to compete a lot more and play these tournaments. And that's when I met Colton, my fiance now. And he's like, he reached out to his company, Discmania, and was like, can we take her on the road? Like, she wants to try this out. She's really good, or she's trying to be really good. Can she, come on the RV?
Right.
And for some reason, Erno with Discmania was like, sure, like, I don't see why not. And so that was really my first year on the road, was with Colton and Bartosz Kowalewski. Yeah.
No, Bart.
Well done on the name. I would have butchered that.
We'll just call him Bart.
Yeah, right. I can get that far
Bart
into it
K.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how even at the highest level that you are, it just seems like so many people's story in disc golf is just kind of right place, right time. Yeah, like you said, it's different, but everything is just kind of like, everything just kind of fell in the right place.
Totally.
And now here I am. That's what it was for me. My friends bugged me all the time. Come on, come play with us, come play with us. No, this is dumb. And then finally I did it and was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I was like, I want to make a video about this. And then people watched them, so I made more. And then Bobby emails me and was like, hey, you want a job? Like, it's just everybody has kind of that weird, interesting story. That's really cool.
But you got noticed because of Shia LaBeouf.
Well,
what?
right.
Shia LaBeouf?
Well,
Not actually. So, okay.
Yeah,
this
not
was,
actually, but
I
yeah.
was like,
well, actually Shia LaBeouf, not actually him.
You know his video where he went crazy and wild
like,
and
do
just
it.
do it?
Yes.
Yes. It was one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. I made one of those, and then people
I have to
noticed
bring that up every 5 or 6 episodes.
It is in, that was part of my contract when I came here, was that we talk about my
gotta
videos
talk
from like
about it.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Love it.
I'm going to have to watch that.
Yes.
So we kind of got your backstory in disc golf.
Yep.
Who is Kona not on the course? I feel like that's what most people are probably familiar with you on the course, your play, everything like that. But unless, aside from the people that are all of the way invested in disc golf, who is Kona outside of that? Obviously, you mentioned that you're engaged to Colton. Who is Colton, or not Colton?
Who is Colton?
Who's Colton?
Who is Colton? Yeah, no. Who is Kona outside of, after you make your putt on hole 18, who's that person?
Yeah, so Colton and I, obviously, we tour full time in our transit van, The Freak. He's a zombie. If you haven't seen it, look it up. But we travel in our transit van. We do a lot of cooking inside our van. We don't eat out a ton when we're on the road. We've been bad at that this off season. But we like to see the sights. We went to the Grand Canyon this year in 2021 for the first time. That was amazing. We try and see all the sights wherever we are. But outside, when I'm back in the van, I love drawing. I do a lot of drawing on discs. I love painting. I love my social media, obviously. I'm constantly on the Instagram. But no, I love being outside. I've done a lot of bird watching this year. Shout out to Bushnell for my new binoculars.
Nice.
Those have been sweet to use outside the course. I actually was thinking about bringing it on the course.
Yeah.
And when we're in between holes, just
Or if you got
looking
a
for
backup
birds.
or something.
Denise would be very proud of you.
I know. I text her when I need a bird.
Bird ID?
Yes, I do. But yeah.
Very cool. So you mentioned Bushnell is another one of your sponsors, so we can kind of get back into talking about sponsors. Obviously the big news is that you're going to be throwing Dynamic Discs plastic. Are you at all familiar with the plastic? Do you know What are your thoughts and expectations, I guess? Because like you said, you started when you were young, where you probably didn't have many different options, or at least not as many options in the disc golf market as there are now. So this is probably your first time really switching bags. Before, you were probably learning how to play and learning discs across the board.
Sure.
Where now you had your whatever you're throwing before, your Shrike or whatever, and now it's kind of all new. What does that do for you mentally?
So actually, when I first started playing disc golf, I had a very mixed bag. I had a Prodigy M4, I had a Discraft Challenger, I had an Innova whatever, and so I had a lot of stuff. And I actually played. There's a very influential couple. Jay and Michelle Burkhart were these people that we played with a lot in Colorado. They actually lived 3 houses down from us growing up, and they threw a lot of DD and latitude stuff. And so Michelle always threw this diamond, and she would just chuck the crap out of it. And I'm like, what is this disc? And that's all she threw. And so, not only them growing up being, exposed to DD, obviously it was a small company. But I've seen Paige Shue. I play with Macy Valdez, I believe. Yep. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Macy. Because she's not Walker anymore. It's weird. But I see her throw a lot when I've been this past year. She had a wonderful season, and I'm always like, what are you throwing? What is that?
Just taking mental notes.
Yeah.
Because Eric has been in your ear this whole time.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Totally.
Just in case.
But mentally, I think I'm to a point in my disc golf career where I should be able to compare the discs that I used to throw, and also with the help of Eric, see what I used to throw and be able to replace those. For me, it's gonna just be reps. Yeah. I think that's all. It's learning my bag, and it's understanding what a disc does at, in win, not wind, and certain situations.
Yeah.
But I think I'm to a point in my career where I should be able to pick up a disc and throw it how I know how to throw it.
Do you, how long does it take you to throw a disc and decide this is the one for me, or nope, this is not it? I want something more overstable, or something deeper, or faster, slower, whatever. How, you say it's all about reps. Is it literally one rep, you can just throw a disc and say, nope, not a chance? Or is it, get a couple rounds in? How long does that take?
I think for this certain situation, it's going to take a second. It's going to take hours of field work, because I'm learning all kinds of different discs. And although yes, speeds and plastics are maybe a little bit similar, but I got to figure out what's going to work. I think in my head, I have, I've gone over with Eric, okay, this is a little bit more stable than this one. I kind of have them lined out on what I think they'll be stability wise and such. But just because it's a new company and everything, it's going to take a second. But once I start figuring out okay, this, and also my Bushnell's going to help a lot too. That's also a huge part of me last year, was helping figure out distance. Okay, I need this for this distance. Okay, it goes that far. Sweet. Okay, I need something to go this far. Okay, boom. As long as I know the distance and then the flight variations, I think it's not going to take that long. But then again, I'm such a field work person that I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I feel like I'm obligated to ask this. When you look either for a new disc or at a new disc, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impactful are the flight numbers of that disc? If you see a disc and it's a 9.5, -3, 3, are you just immediately no way? Or do you just see that and think, okay, it's understable?
So I'm just coming from a different company. I think being able to compare, I know obviously it might be a little different with different plastics and such. It might make the characteristics of the flight a little bit different. I think being able to compare one to another and be okay, this should fly similar or feel similar to what that used to be. I think coming over it's gonna be a lot easier to look at those numbers and be okay, this should be similar. All right, let's try different plastics. Or okay, maybe I need something with a less tick, but obviously having Eric be okay, I think this is gonna work great for you, I think is gonna be very helpful.
Yeah.
And one thing I have noticed when she's looking at discs, the main thing she's asking about is what the speed of the disc is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think most people should kind of study, is the speed of it, not worry about the other numbers that follow.
Yep.
Speed is probably the most important.
Right. I think the speed of the disc, and then definitely after would be the stability.
Yep.
And just throw the disc.
Yeah.
And then you'll see if you like it or not.
That's
you know,
the
that's
end all be all. The most important thing. The numbers could be 0, 0, 0, 0.
Ooh, that sounds like a good disc.
Sounds really good.
It goes nowhere.
Yourself in the foot every single time.
It's like a rock.
So actually, no, Kona, it's not like a rock. You can't say that
I can't
anymore.
say that. Okay. It's like a boulder.
There you go.
There. Okay. Yes.
So what was your first impression of dynamic discs? Whether this be, kind of out on the course last year during the season, or even this morning when you literally first walked in the warehouse, is dynamic discs, I'm doing air quotes for people listening, is dynamic discs kind of what you thought it would be? Is it different? If it's different, how so?
I played the Glass Blown Open when it was the Glass Blown Open, and I believe they were 2016 or 2017, and getting my first taste of just how you guys run events and how you care for the players. Like, I got to go in the warehouse and stamp my own disc. I won my cards and I got to go to the store and get that disc that said you won your card. Like, it was such a great experience as an AM. That just like having that first taste of how DD worked and how they really cater towards the player was like, dang, like, okay, this is sick. And then, obviously fast forward years, and to like this point now, your guys' warehouse is sick, for one. I keep telling Eric that and Jeremy earlier, but warehouse is sick, and I like where you guys are going. I see a really bright future, not only for myself with DD, but what you guys are trying to do, like I said, for the sport and like media. I'm such a media person, and you guys are really looking to do more, and that's big with me.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely... For you, I have to imagine that the media aspect of things, just in general, not necessarily us related, it has to be such almost a weight off your shoulders. Where back when Eric was on the road, it was like, I have to finish inside the top 3, otherwise I'm not going to be able to afford gas to get to the next event, to hopefully afford gas to get to the next event. Where now with all the things that you're doing on Instagram and just media in general, it kind of... if you have an off weekend, it's okay. You still have these other opportunities. You still have these other things that kind of, it kind of alleviates that pressure off of you. Mm-hmm. This is kind of going in line with that. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a hot minute.
Fancy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you've mentioned you're sponsored by Bushnell. Mm-hmm. You're also sponsored by Under Armour. So
micro influencer. I don't think I would say sponsored.
Okay.
I would say micro influencer, as in like they're giving us free stuff. Mm-hmm. They're having us promote and all of that stuff on the media. But we're hoping in the next few months, I think we're going to be home in California, my home, split homes. But we should be in California, and we're hoping to talk more with I keep forgetting, district manager who works there, who actually got us kind of into it. We've had a lot more connections since then, but hopefully try and get them more involved in disc golf. Okay. But right now, Colton and I are micro influencers. They give us some free stuff and, free, not free, but discounts when we go to their brand and stores like that.
But it's a foot in the door.
Right. It's a foot in the door.
It's a big foot in the door.
Yeah.
Right? I
mean, and I intend to kick this door down because I'm a giant shoe nerd, and the shoes that you have on are so sick.
Yeah. So these were some of the ones they gave us. So that's a big start too.
I'm gonna have my people call your people to call their people because
are your people your people?
My people
like you?
Are me. You didn't have to tell everybody that, but yeah, my people are pretty much just me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
easy to get a hold of for you at least.
Right, yeah. We have disagreements on things every once in a while, lack of communication. But so how did that all start? Obviously, outside companies are starting to kind of trickle into the disc golf world. Under Armour being, maybe they're just, like Eric said, getting their foot in the door, but that's a very big company. Mm-hmm. You always hear people talking about Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, companies like that. Yep. Was that a thing where, did you approach them? Did they approach you? Just right place, right time? How did that come about?
Well, I was sponsored by Adidas for 2 or 3 years before they decided to disappear, unfortunately. And they kind of left, and then all of a sudden, Colton and I were wearing a lot more Under Armour just because, I don't know, we go to their shopping malls when we decide to stop in, stretch our legs while we're touring, and we were wearing a bunch of them. And I remember we were in California. We were playing, I think, Glen Helen Regional Park. That's one of my home courses. And it's windy. It's like Emporia.
Sick.
Always.
The world's practice.
Yes. And I think he saw on my social media that I either tagged them or something where I was wearing it. And he's like, hey, I'm the district manager for, the LA Under Armour stores. I'd love to meet with you guys and talk disc golf and Under Armour stuff. So we met him at one of the factory stores is what they call, like the smaller ones that are in like malls.
Yep.
And we met him there, and he gave us like both free goodie bags full of like cool clothes and some stuff.
Sweet.
And he's like, hey, and here's a bunch of, discount codes, keep repping us, keep promoting us. I'm hoping to someday get Under Armour into disc golf. And so that was, the start. And then he introduced us to one of their higher ups. He goes by Q with Under Armour, and just wanted to meet us, talk to us, see what we're all about, what disc golf is all about, and see if it's really worth it. And he said, when you guys get back to California, we'd love to stock you guys up with more stuff.
Nice.
So been talking with them, and then we've met some people who work at brand houses, or like the more the bigger stores that usually have all the new apparel that's not in the factory stores quite yet. And we met up with one of their people who actually got us these shoes, and then showed us around the Under Armour headquarters in Baltimore.
Ooh, what's up?
Dang.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Did you share that out?
I did.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he showed us around their little cute headquarters. It wasn't open. I don't know what was going on, but showed us around, and we got to see like their really expensive, cool gyms that he showed us, where like Lindsey Vaughn works out, Michael Phelps goes and works out. So so definitely a start, and we're just hoping we can just give them a push.
Right.
Yeah.
So do they give you, like, how do they track what they're getting from you and Colton? Do they give you guys like an affiliate code that if somebody goes to Under Armour, they can say, oh, I'm here because I saw Kona was talking about you guys have these new golf pants, which, by the way, Under Armour golf pants are top tier. They're incredible.
That's all they wear.
And I'm not even sponsored by Under Armour yet. So
I'll take through the yet in there, though.
Thank you. Yeah, my people are actively working on this. So is there, I guess, how is there, what's the best avenue for people to kind of both help you and help disc golf as a whole with that? Can they just say, like, I'm here because Kona said to be here? Or
So there's no affiliate links because micro-influencers, it's literally, hey, we'll give you free discount codes. We'll give you some free stuff. Just go onto social media, post about it. So I think for them to see, more disc golfers maybe like posting more and tagging them up and tagging, like tagging them, yes, but then also hashtagging, Under Armour, I think is a step in the right direction. But definitely posting stuff and like showing that, okay, this disc golf this is a good market for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what Anthony's going to do for the next couple hours. Just go back and edit all of his photos.
Yeah, that's all the time we've got for this show. I got to go tag Under Armour with a bunch of stuff, switch my shoes off real quick.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got work to do today. So we'll kind of get back into the disc golf world. I got what I needed to know out of how to potentially get sponsored by Under Armour, and it turns out I'm not very close.
No.
So you've said you were talking with Macy before about disc. You've been talking with Eric. Are there a couple discs that you kind of have your mind on of, like, these are the ones I want to try first? I'm guessing the EMAC Truth is probably one of them. If you're talking to Eric about discs, it's hard to get him to talk about anything else.
Well, no, I talk about the EMAC Judge.
It's also true.
Yeah. But yeah, I used to putt with a kind of deep putter, no bead.
Okay.
And I talked to Colton a while ago how I wanted to change that up. And so I want to test out the EMAC Judge. Because the regular Judge has a little bit too much of a bead for me. I used to putt with something similar, and it was just too much, and it didn't have a lot of glide. It had too much dump. So EMAC Judge seems like the right way to go, because I want something I can put my pointer finger on and get more spin. So I'm looking forward to trying that. Obviously, yes, the Truth. I guess I'm biased anyways.
A little.
Yes. I saw the Kristen Tatar Pures. Those feel really good in the hand. I'm trying to work on my backhand approach shots. So I like the feel. They're not super deep, but I like the plastic. Seems more durable. And then he got me a Glimmer Evader or Evader.
Yep.
Just seem to emphasize that E.
Yeah.
And I liked the plastic of the Glimmer a lot. It had some give, but it was still stiff. And then obviously it's beautiful.
It is, and it does have a Kona stamp on it.
Yes, it does.
Also.
Yeah, I got some sweet little Dimex when I showed up to the airport. What's up?
Nice.
But I like the feel of that rim. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard to throw. And then my good friend Rebecca Cox, shout out to my homie. She throws a Maverick a lot. And I'm curious. I used to throw the River back in the day. There's actually a video. People go check it out on my Instagram. I'm in a homecoming dress and like 4-inch high heels throwing a Frisbee or disc. And it was a River. So I used to love the River. So I think the Maverick might be a good compliment now that my game is a little bit, more advanced. I know the River is a little bit more understable. So Maverick should be a tick more overstable. No, I meant understable for the River. But that, and then I saw Paige Shoe's new Sergeant.
Yep. Fusion X Sergeants. Yep.
Yep. So I thought those felt pretty good in the hand for those were like 12 speed, right?
I think so.
Yep.
12 or 11?
I think they're 11s actually.
11 or
Okay,
12,
which
somewhere in
yes,
there.
I think you said 11, and I think that's going to be something that I actually really like. So I'm excited to try that. It felt good in the hand. So really just figuring that out. But so far, I'm really liking Fusion, Plastic, Glimmer, and I really like the look of just the sparkle.
Yep.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. But yeah, I'm excited to try that out. But I'm really liking that Glimmer Plastic.
Okay. So are you, I guess maybe this would be a question for you, Eric. Are you taking what she used to throw and saying, okay, she used to throw, I think you threw Shrikes before. That was like your signature disc?
I blend Emperor. It's like a beat-in destroyer with a lot of glide.
Okay. So then, Eric, are you saying, I know she used to throw the Emperor. This is what's similar to that? Or are you just saying, I know our lineup. I think she's going to like the Sergeant?
A little bit of both.
Yep.
Okay.
A little bit of both. She had given me a list of discs that she used to throw, and I kind of...
You probably knew half of them?
I knew half of them, right. Yeah, honestly. But no, I didn't know the majority of them. But the Emperor, I wasn't sure on until she told me like beat-in destroyer, which tells me, boom, Trespass. That's going to be so good. And I push the Trespass on everybody because it's such a good disc. I love that disc so much.
Yes, you do.
But no, yeah, I think just based off, because I've seen Kona play a lot. I've actually followed her whole final round at Throw Pink. Walk that around, and I know, I feel like I have a good idea of arm speed and what discs are going to be good for her. So I picked out probably 15 to 20 different molds to try, just to try out, just to start with. Yeah. And the crazy part about coming to us is there's unlimited amount of discs between the three brands. It's almost overwhelming. To a certain point. So not even getting into the dirt about, maybe you should try this one. It's very similar to that one. But just picking out a handful of the more popular molds that I think she's really going to fall in love with and getting them in her hands and just watching her rip it. I'm excited for that. I'm excited
I'm also trying to
watch
do
you
more
throw.
DD than anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to really stick to the DD, and obviously if there's something random that seems to fit in a weird spot, or maybe it has someone's name on it, like Erica Stitchcomb. Like, let's say I like her sword and I want to just, help promote her, and okay, I do like the mold, then, I'll throw that in the bag too. But right now, I think I'd rather have my bag just full of DD.
That's the opposite of what Eric does. He'll see, Zach Melton's on the Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Can't throw this.
No.
Gotta beat something else
right
up.
in the water. And I FaceTime him when I do it.
Right, yeah. Hey, Zach, check this thing out. In the trash. So I would assume that the biggest thing for you this off season is probably just learning new discs, figuring out what you're going to throw, how they fly, different situations like that. Is there anything else that you're working on or thinking you're going to work on? Is there, I really want to dial in my sidearm or get better at jump putts or anything like that? What's kind of the 1A to learning new discs for your off-season plan?
Definitely the putt. I think that's what has kept me out of contention, is, the lack of consistency with my putt. You know, I had an Anheuser putt for like half a season, and that's what I won my Waco. That's what I won my All-Star with, and it worked for whatever that amount of time. But I'm looking for something more simple, spin. And I think this off season, it's literally going to be me and 700 EMAC judges around a basket.
Yes,
lots and lots. And, you know, trying to understand spin. My fiance is the king of spin putting. And for some reason, I love you, hun, but he can't help me in that sense. He tries. He's been very helpful, but like, I don't understand what he's doing. So it's figuring that out. And then, like I said, I want to try out that Kristen Tatar Pure and, you know, work on those backhand approaches. But also, I talked to EMAC yesterday, and it was like, I love my forehand approaches. I can look straight at the basket. It's easy. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can learn my backhand approach for specific
right when I need it
shots. But like, I love being able to look at the basket and just boop.
Same.
Yeah.
Completely same.
Lots of that.
That is so not true for you.
What's not true for me?
Forehands.
What do you mean?
No, nothing. We'll move on.
I like forehand approaches better than backhands. I'm not saying I'm better at it. I prefer it. I didn't say the result is any better.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This isn't about me,
That's
Eric.
true.
Okay, we
That's
already
true.
did my thing with the whole Under Armour thing.
Okay, perfect.
It's not supposed to be about me. We make fun of me enough on this show.
Oh, man. It's mutual. It's mutual.
It's fair. So then kind of going into 2022, are your expectations different than they were last year coming into the season? Obviously, your goal is to win as many events and play as well as you can. But are you thinking that you'll temper those expectations? Are you just going to kind of take it and see how it goes and kind of evaluate after 3 or 4 events? Where's your head at kind of post off season 2022 season?
I think to start the season, it's going to be, you know, not a lot of expectations. It's a new company. They're new discs. It's like, but I say that, but then it's like, I'm going to be playing so much when I get home during the off season that I will have expectations. You know, this past season, I really got my backhand form dialed. I was, you know, understanding my distance really well and my timing, and that wasn't really my issue. And so, you know, like I said, it's all putting, and I think if I can just get a sick putt down with my EMAC judges, I think I'm gonna have some. Is there
something in your contract like you have to
say it 700 times?
Yep.
EMAC judges. Judges.
We're halfway
no,
there,
it's
guys.
promoting, but I think as long as I have the putt down, I have some high expectations.
Okay. Is that typical for you? Do you kind of, I mean, I know everybody's different with where they kind of, how they evaluate and handle things mentally. Do you typically go into every event and say, like, I know I should at least be competing for this win, if not winning? Do you say, you know, I'm just gonna play my best golf. If that's good enough this weekend, cool. If it's not, as long as I'm doing my best. What type of a player mindset do you have?
I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of both for me. Like when I won Waco, I told myself every round, no expectations. I was just like, you know, go out there, do your best. But, you know, as I progress and, you know, as I see these other women progressing as well, if I'm not in contention, I'm pretty angry. Just because I work hard. I am out there practicing so much. And it's funny, Katrina Allen and I had a conversation at Maple Hill. We were the only two warming up in the warm-up area. And she's like, oh, I guess no one wants to come and, you know, practice putt or, you know, warm up. And at the end of the round, she was first and I was second. And we were walking up 18 or something, or maybe it was 17. And she fist bumped me and she's like, hard work pays off. Like, you know, so for me, it's getting the reps in, it's understanding my discs, and it's getting that putt down.
Yeah. It's funny that you told that story about you and Katrina, because when you think about kind of the FPO field and even disc golf as a whole, you two are one of the ones that come to mind of like who, and not to say that everyone else isn't out there working, but like when you think like who is out there just grinding, constantly trying to get better, constantly working on things, changing things in the off season. It's like, yeah, Kona is kind of known for, she's always out there working, always out there working. And I feel like Katrina's the same thing. Yep. She's always in the gym. She's always, you know, eating the right things, doing all these different things. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that literally such that small sample size of like, we're the only ones here warming up properly for a round, and oh, look what happened. We're first and second.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a really cool mindset to have. And I think that type of mindset kind of, I don't want to say that it makes transitioning from one company to another easier, because I'm sure that that's difficult. But I think easier is kind of the word that comes to mind of like, you know, if you dedicate the time, and you're going to be in California for most of the off season, I would think, where I guess we should say off season in quotes, because like it's way nicer there on Christmas Day than it is outside right now.
Or in Colorado, where you're going to be for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, get out of there. I think it's going to get cold.
I know.
Colorado is beautiful in the summer. In the winter, I think I'd be a little scared.
We're supposed to have bad winter too.
Really? So what is that for California? Like 65 and sunny?
If that. Yo, 70. Come on.
Do you think Jeremy would be willing to like
to just relocate?
Right. Yeah. Hey guys, we need to do this. Like, we just signed Kona. We're going to do this whole off-season training thing.
Okay.
We're just going to send everybody out to California.
I'm interested.
Same.
I'm interested.
People, please. While we're out there, I can hit up Kona's Under Armour guy.
Oh, hey.
Q.
What's up?
Holler at me, bud.
Holler at me. Holler at your boy.
Under Armour.
Yeah, I'm going to go hashtag that on all my Instagram posts and everything. That's all I think I've got. I think this is a really good and a really interesting kind of starting point in your Dynamic Discs career. Like we talked about in the beginning, you'll be back in some amount of time. We don't know the exact amount of time, but we will be having you back, and then we can kind of touch base on this and see, you know, what discs do you like? Is it the EMAC Judge? Is the EMAC Judge the putter for you? EMAC Judge.
One more.
EMAC Judge.
Yes.
Is that the one, or are you going to come to your senses and putt with Wardens? I don't know.
No, she picked up a Warden and says, ew, what is this thing?
Please tell me that's not
I didn't
true.
say ew. Don't tell Jeremy.
No, she didn't say ooh. But,
she said,
but I did say no.
Yeah, that's it. It was a consideration.
Yes.
But then no.
Fine.
No.
It's more for me. Anyways,
That's right.
The way the disc golf market is right now, I'm fine with less people putting with Wardens.
True.
Or for this guy right here.
True.
So Kona, thank you very much for sitting down with us. I think, like I said, this is a really cool kind of starting point. We can touch base again when you're back in town and see how things are going. And kind of, that'll be a little bit more geared towards the 2022 season. You'll have a little bit more experience under your belt and a little bit more time with the discs. And see how everything is going with that.
Yep. If you listeners have any questions, please message us or something. I'd love to talk about it on here as well next time we join back up.
And throw your socials out there so people can follow you.
Oh, yeah, follow me on Instagram, Kona_disc, Kona Panis Disc Golf on Facebook, Kona Panis Disc Golf on YouTube, and yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you everybody for listening. Until next time. I don't know, Danny usually has that little jingle thing. We don't really have a way to close.
Bye.
Perfect.
Nailed it.